Hello my friends, what is poppin'? We are here today for our draft analysis to talk about our Pokemon that we drafted for the Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee Draft League started by my boy Joey Pokeaim. So very excited to be a part of the league, of course. Shout out to him. And let me just go over, I guess, what this league is about. So it's 8 coaches split into 2 drafts with 4 coaches each. So the draft already happened, as you will probably know because I'm uploading this. And 9 Pokemon get drafted by each coach. So because it's split into 2 groups of 4, everybody can get enough good mons. Because they're only like 150 something plus 151 plus Metal and Meltan, but like there's some banned Pokemon as well. So I'll go over that in a bit. And essentially the way that prep works is you will bring 6 mons to the matchup. However, you'll only bring 3 to the actual battle. So it's 3v3. And it's gonna be best of 3, however. So I think that's the catch right there. It's best of 3, 3v3, and but you bring 6 total. So you can, let's say for instance, I bring like the first 6 mons: Gyarados, Zapdos, Muk, Alakazam, Nidoqueen, Aero. I can bring Gyarados, Muk, Alakazam the first time, and if I win or lose, whatever, I can bring some. I can switch it up. I can bring like Gyarados, Zapdos, Nidoqueen or something. So I can like mix and match and stuff. So I think that's gonna be where it's gonna be sort of like, it's gonna be there. I mean, of course, there's gonna be prep in the team builder and whatnot, but there's also kind of gonna be that mind game of prep on what you have to bring in the matchup itself. So I think that's gonna be really interesting. A lot of mind games involved, so it should be a lot of fun. And especially since, you know, with this kind of game, they did remove a lot of the mechanics from other games. However, I think that there's of course still definitely a competitive meta game. Like I've been playing Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee OU. It's been a lot of fun, and I definitely recommend you guys to try it out on Showdown if you guys have not already. So I mean, and of course to play the game if you guys have not done that either. It's a lot of fun. I picked up Let's Go Eevee, so I've been playing that a bunch. It's been really great. So yeah, that's gonna be sort of the rundown of the league, and I guess talk about the ban stuff. So Eevee and Pikachu, the starters, are banned just because you know, well, firstly, they can't really be traded because they're version exclusives. They have sort of an accessibility issue right there, and also like Eevee's just really good. Eevee's actually S ranked in the meta, and the reason is because it has an attack, 90 power attack, attacks I should say, that can 100% burn, 100% para. It can leech seed. It can be a heal bell cleric. It's the only cleric in the game. And what else? Screens. It can set up screens, and all of this while not being taunted. Like Eevee's pretty good, and the starter Eevee has a buff in terms of his stats. So I think that it's pretty wise not including it. I mean, they kind of did Pikachu dirty, but at the same time, you know, just to kind of keep things consistent, those are both banned as Joey banned them, and Mega Alakazam and Mega Gengar are banned as well, just because like in terms of it being a draft league, there's only like 2 Alolan Muks possible to get because there's 2 separate drafts, and yeah, that's about it for the counters of Mega Alakazam and Mega Gengar. I guess also Melmetal. Melmetal can be a great answer to Mega Alakazam, but there's only 2 of those as well. So, and plus these things are like super fast, Mega Pokemon, even stronger than the regular forms. So it's kind of wise that we banned them, I guess. Just because I got one of the only 2 Alolan Muks in the game, which is pretty cool. Regular Zam and regular Gengar are both allowed, and they're still really good mons, but I think they're more manageable just in terms of speed tier, power level, and yeah, like there are other checks and stuff that can deal with them as well. There's only 4 dark types in this I guess meta game, or this game. I should say there's Mega Gyarados, Alolan Muk, Alolan Raticate, and Alolan Persian. So as you can see here, I got 2 of those dark types, and I'll kind of go over my strategy in terms of why I drafted each Pokemon, and what my plans are for this draft. So let's go ahead, hop right into it, and talk about our first Pokemon that we picked up. So I guess like in terms of the order of the draft that I was in, so I was in draft 2. There's draft 1 and draft 2, 4 coaches each, and I was the 3rd pick in my draft. So it was gonna go like a snake order: 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 4 again goes picks 2 Pokemon, 3, 2, 1. I guess each side picks 2 Pokemon. Each of the ends picks 2 Pokemon each. So yeah, I picked up Mega Gyarados. The reason was because firstly I wanted Melmetal. I obviously wanted Melmetal because that's a great mon, and Chimpact picked that up first. So I mean, that was kind of obvious. It was a lot of people's first pick. I really wanted Mega Gyarados, just firstly because I was using it on that one team that I made, the first Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee team that I made for competitive, as well as my in-game team. I really wanted to use Mega Gyarados, and also just because it looks like a Chinese dragon, and I just want to use this Pokemon and spread paralysis in all of the Chinese ways that I possibly can. There's no Dragon Dance in this game, but I think that just the move pool that it has, and being able to cripple things with T-Wave, it's gonna be really fun overall, and it's probably one of the best available Megas in this draft. I would say, hands down, this Pokemon is amazing in this, in not only this draft, but just in the metagame itself. I've been playing a lot of Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee OU. I would recommend that if you haven't tried it on Showdown. Great tier overall. I really enjoyed it a lot. I mean, it's a lot of fun, really fresh. But yeah, so like this thing has incredible power, base 155 attack, incredible bulk as well. Like this thing takes maybe like 35% from a Starmie's T-Bolt, so that's something to note. And just great move pool, like Crunch, Earthquake, what else? I guess Dragon Tail for phasing stuff, maybe Outrage, I guess for like Dragonite. What else do we have here? Yeah, and like I said, Thunder Wave, Waterfall for that Power Flinch with Thunder Wave. It has some utility moves like Taunt, so Taunt can be useful. Where is it? It's right here, Taunt, and it can run like Sub as well, Sub Gyarados, and I mean, its special move pool is not bad either. Like base 70 special attack, it's not too bad. As long as I can hit things like 4 times super effectively with an Ice Beam or a Flamethrower. So, and Facade, I guess, is pretty cool too if we get burned. Has a lot of options. Speed tier is base 81, so faster than like base 80s, which are stuff in this tier. I don't even remember, but off the top of my head, but I think like Dragonite is base 80, right? So this thing is 1 point faster than that, which is always nice. So, yeah, that's Mega Gyarados, our first pick here. Now, the second pick that I've chosen is going to be Zapdos, and I wanted to pair this thing with Gyarados, Mega Gyarados, just because like Zapdos kind of lures in ground-type Pokemon. If you can see, like, I don't have access to hidden powers. I can't run hidden power, water, ice, whatever. Like the best, like it has electric stab, it has flying stab. And it's basically sort of the best in terms of its offense. It can Thunderbolt stuff, it can Drill Peck things. That's what I've been running a lot, is a Zapdos with like Thunderbolt and Drill Peck with a mixed IV nature, so that I can actually hit hard Drill Pecks. But ground type Pokemon like Rhydon, just love this thing so much because I can switch into it and stuff for days. But because this thing has U-turn, it gives me momentum, so it kind of lures in ground type Pokemon. If I can U-turn on them on the switch in, get to bring in Gyarados here, which is the ground type destroyer, ground and rock type destroyer of this metagame. And I think that it's going to be really fun to pair these two together. With U-turn Zapdos, it can also spam T-Bolt, and then them having to fear the Gyarados in the back. It's going to be a really fun, I guess, treat for this team. And I think other than that, like this thing, it does what it does best. It can Thunderbolt, it can Drill Peck. If I want to run, because this is 3v3, right? We're trying to avoid the 20-minute timer, essentially overall, right? In 6v6, the 20-minute timer, like if you guys watched the Wi-Fi battle I did versus Joey, pokeaim, of course, he and I were both playing pretty quickly. We were both playing pretty fast, but the timer still went down to like the last minute in the end. So I think the 3v3 sort of remedies that, so that it will allow us to play, or I guess allow us to have more time in 3v3, and in doing so I could probably still run like a sub-toxic Root Zapdos and beat ground types that way as well. So there are options for me. Like I think the only tough time that Zapdos has is versus maybe versus Nidoqueen and stuff, where Drill Peck doesn't do as much, and they could like Toxic and stuff, they could Rock Slide, I guess. Maybe like Rhydon, I guess, is kind of troublesome, but if I'm behind a sub and I can Toxic, I can sort of play around a little bit. But yeah, like Pokemon that are immune to Toxic, that are ground types, can be annoying for this. Even Alolan Dugtrio is annoying for Zapdos a bit, because it can, and I'm pretty sure that, I think somebody has Alolan Dugtrio, I'm not sure. But yeah, like, this thing can still put in some decent work versus a lot of different types of Pokemon, and it can U-turn into Gyarados, which is amazing. Next, I drafted Alolan Muk for the team. You already know GBA Season 7, shout out to the Trick House. We're back with Slime. And I guess like with Alolan Muk, it's one of the two like really solid good dark types. I had Mega Gyarados and I have Alolan Muk. And the reason is because like I don't know if I mentioned already yet, but the other two dark types are Alolan Persian and Alolan Raticate. I think Joey has Alolan Raticate if I'm not mistaken. And the good thing is, right, like because I have these two dark types, I can pick up a next Pokemon like Alakazam, which I'll get to, which can spam psychic type attacks and has coverage that can blow back Alolan Raticate and Alolan Persian like Dazzling Gleam. which this thing does have access to. So I think that Alolan Muk, I mean, let's just talk about this first before I get into Alakazam, regular Alakazam, but this thing is nice. I mean, even though Mega Zem and Mega Gengar are banned, as well as Mew, because Mew is just one of the best overall mons, it's just something that can, that I feel can take hits pretty well, first of all. It can still provide as a great check and an answer to regular Gengar and regular Alakazam. It has mixed move pool options like Fire Blast for Melmetal, as well as maybe like Mega Drain for, actually I don't think the other movesets updated. Oh, this does have Moonblast. Why does it have Moonblast? I actually just realized that Alolan Muk has Moonblast. That's crazy. Huh, I didn't know that. Anyways, it's pretty cool, but it has a good mixed move pool. Like it can, even though it has a base 65 special attack, it can still hit really hard with Fire Blast versus Melmetal, maybe like versus a ground type Pokemon that this thing does not appreciate. It can Mega Drain for like times 4 effective versus Rhydon perhaps. I don't know. Like I mean, it has a good physical move pool with Fire Punch, Ice Punch, Elemental Punches. It's got Poison Jab still. It's got Crunch still. Knockoff, of course, not really useful here because there's no held items. So like the way that you'd be prepping is like 4 moves, Nature, and then sort of the mind games between which 3 you're going to bring into the battle. So I think it'll be fun. But yeah, this Pokemon has a pretty good move pool. It has some utility options with Toxic, Taunt, and what else? I don't know. Like it has ways of dealing with things. Like Acid Armor to boost its defense can make it really bulky and kind of difficult to knock down. So yeah, I mean, I had to pick up Alolan Muk. I had to represent GBA Season 7. Speaking of which, I do have Alakazam, which I think I also did use in GBA Season 7 as well. Alakazam is out here with just being able to click Psychic attacks. Like I only have to worry about one other Alolan Muk on the other side of the draft and one other Mega Gyarados. Other than that, like this thing can Calm Mind, this thing can Dazzling Gleam stuff. It's faster than Alolan Persian. Versus Raticate, we can play Mind Games with Sucker Punch and have Substitute on deck with Calm Mind, Sub-Calm Mind, and Psychic here. It has Recovery with the actual Recover move, so that's pretty cool. We can Encore things. We can what else? Like coverage wise, it has Psychic, Dazzling Gleam, Shadow Ball. Maybe Tri Attack can be cool. Perhaps it does have Teleport in case I want to. And actually, the teleport mechanics are changed. You can use this thing to slow Baton Pass. I think it has a negative priority and it works as a sort of a Baton Pass. I don't think you can pass stats though, but it's like a momentum move. It's really, really fun to use. I haven't really tried it out yet, but I've like created some sets that I can try out sometime. So we'll see about that. And yeah, it has access to screens, so I can use this thing to set up dual screens if I want to run a more sort of hyper offense team. Because I do have a couple setup sweepers here that can put in work, like, I don't know, maybe Ninetales or Poliwrath or Pinsir. I'll get to those soon. But Alakazam is a cool mon. I think it's just a great mon. Like I was gonna think about Gengar because if you guys saw my my first Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee Wi-Fi battle, I had Mega Gyarados, Zapdos, Alolan Muk, and Gengar. But I wanted to pick up Alakazam just because I haven't tried it out yet, and I want to abuse the speed tier. Base 120 speed, definitely something that can be useful. It outruns base 100s obviously, so I think it's a cool mon, and it works well because I've taken two of the best dark types on my side of the draft. I think it'll be fun. So moving on to our 5th Pokemon that I've drafted, I wanted a ground type Pokemon. I definitely wanted a ground type. Looking at the first 4 picks, I have no electric immunity or even no electric resistance. So I wanted to pick up a Nidoqueen. I was debating between either Nidoqueen or Rhydon. And like Rhydon is a cool mon I've been trying out a bunch in the OU Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee OU tier. The thing about it in Draft League is that because of the fact that it has a ×4 weakness to water and grass, for it being a rock and ground type Pokemon, there's a lot of ways you can run coverage to sort of counter it that you may not expect a Pokemon to have. Like for instance, I was playing today on the ladder, and I was like leading with my Rhydon versus a Nidoking. And I was thinking to myself, like, okay, Rhydon has great defenses. It'll take an Earthquake from Nidoking. It doesn't get Earth Power at all in this gen, so I can eat this up. And then it just whips out Surf and OHKOs me. So I was just like, okay, wait a second. I don't know about like if people can counter team that and stuff, knowing that I have a Rhydon, I don't think I'd want to try to use that Pokemon in draft. So I decided to pick up a Nidoqueen instead for my ground type Pokemon, just because it has no sort of ×4 weakness, even though it has like Poison Ground, weakness to Psychic, weakness to Water, Ground, I don't know, stuff like that. I guess it's pretty bulky, and it does not just die to a random coverage move slapped on a non-stab mon, which is cool. It has a very expansive move pool. Look at this thing. Like, it has a great move pool, and it can probably even, it can get away with running special attacks. It can run physical attacks really well. Has a decent amount of bulk, HP stat, nice speed. Good all-around mon. So like one of those like sort of all-around mons, I think, and it'll work really well in this league, I feel, or in this sort of metagame. I mean, it's like a pretty widely used ground type mon. I think the most used ground type mon is probably Rhydon, I would say, because I've seen so many of those. But Nidoqueen is probably like second in line. But I think it's gonna be really good in draft, much better than Rhydon in draft, I feel. So yeah, like it has options for Earthquake. Like this gives me a Stealth Rocker. Like I might not want to click rocks in 3v3. I guess it's sort of like a battle spot style. Like I don't know if you'd want to really click rocks, just because it sort of loses you a turn of momentum, sort of, in terms of it just loses you a turn, right? So you may get your mon knocked out, and you'll have like 2v3. Kind of puts you in the back a lot, unless you're confident they're bringing like some ×4 weak like rock ×4 weak to rock Pokemon to take like 50% from stealth rocks. I don't think it's worth running rocks too often in this kind of league, but Nidoqueen is just a great mon overall with the coverage that it has, and I think what it can do and how it can take hits and deal some damage back. And yeah, it's not limited to just running attacks. It can run Toxic, Taunt, so has options, I feel. Our sixth Pokemon that I got here is going to be regular Aerodactyl. Now, the reason why I picked this up, of course, apart from the fact that it was on my first team for Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, it's a great Stealth Rocker and Taunter, but at the same time, I didn't really pick it up for that reason. I just wanted a really fast Rock Slider just because it has the potential and the power to deal with Venomoth, Moltres, Charizard, Zapdos, I guess, with Rock Slide, it's a 2-hit KO, Dragonite as well. Like, there's a lot of flying type Pokemon and a lot of Pokemon weak to rocks and weak to stealth rocks. So I think that Arrow, while I may not be using it sort of as a lead suicide stealth rocker all the time, I think that it can work really well offensively. It has Rock Slide, which is a really great thing for this Pokemon. It's base 105 attack, so it's not bad. Like, it's pretty good. Earthquake, it can hit things really hard on that are weak to like Earthquake, like steel types. Agility if I want to run Adamant Nature and get more power, so that can be an option. It has Crunch for stuff like Starmie and Psychic types. Roost for longevity, Taunt. Well, I said Taunt, I think. But I could also even run Fly versus Grass type Pokemon even. Yeah, I could run Fly. Ooh, this Pokemon's pretty fly overall, but I like it. So yeah, like Arrow, it's a fast mon. Like, I just wanted to get it for the speed tier. Base 130 speed is phenomenal. Even though it's not a Mega Arrow, I figured that like I didn't want to get Mega Arrow just because I wanted to get regular Arrow because it can kind of do similar stuff to Mega, while picking up an actual like Mega that there are sort of no rivals to. I think that Mega Gyarados is phenomenal. And I get the option to use both regular and Mega and choose when to Mega or not. So that's always nice. So moving on to my 7th pick. 7th pick here, we got Alolan Ninetales. And this is actually a Pokemon that nobody else picked up. I mean, of course, obviously not in my draft, but in the other, in draft 1, nobody picked this up. And I think it's a really good mon overall because I was debating between either picking this Pokemon up or a Steel type, but like Melmetal got taken by Chimpact. I was obviously not going to get any Steel type that could rival that. There was Magneton, but I have Zapdos, so obviously I don't want another Electric type. There was, what else? Alolan Sandslash was something I was thinking about, but because of it being ×4 weak to fighting and fire, and not having the same speed that Ninetales has while also not hitting as hard without setting up Swords Dance, I feel, I mean, this thing has Nasty Plot. Sandslash is not that bad, but like, it's not too fast, and I don't know, I just wasn't really feeling Alolan Sandslash, but I was kind of looking at Alolan Ninetales, and I was like, what does this thing get that, or what has this thing lost from, you know, I guess using it in Ultra Sun and Moon or whatever in OU, in the main OU tier. So like, this thing does not get Aurora Veil, which is fine. Like, there's no weather in this game, but it still gets screens with Reflect, and I think no light screen, but the main sort of appeal of this Pokemon is the Nasty Plot, fast base 109 speed Nasty Plot user. Because of its speed and its fairy typing, it's so nice because it can be immune to dragon type attacks. I saw Chimpact pick up like, I think he picked up Dragonite if I'm not mistaken, and I didn't want to get destroyed by Agility Dragonite because there's no Dragon Dance, keep in mind. And so like most Dragonites run agility with 3 attacks or mixed, or like maybe a roost or sub or something. So I didn't want to get swept by a Dragonite with outrage or whatever. So I do have Ninetales, so that it gives me that sort of dragon immunity. I was either thinking about a fairy or steel type, and I went with the Ninetales just because of how it has a lot of speed, and it has 2 stab moves that can work with Nasty Plot or Calm Mind with Dazzling Gleam and Ice Beam. So this thing doesn't get Moonblast. I don't know why Muk has. I don't know. I really don't know why it says that Muk has Moonblast, but Ninetales doesn't. I don't get that at all. Maybe it's some kind of error, or maybe that's just the way the game is. I have no idea. But yeah, like Nasty Plot, Ice Beam, Dazzling Gleam, Dark Pulse even could be useful versus Pokemon such as maybe Mega Slowbro. I know somebody drafted that. It could be cool. Hypnosis is something that can put people to sleep. Where is that? Right here. Hypnosis can put people to sleep, right? 60 accuracy. I'm probably going to miss the first one, but there's still game 2. There's still game 2, so I might be able to hit one of those Hypnosis at least and try to sweep, so that could be cool. Yeah, Confuse Ray is another option, I guess. Confuse some people and into trying to figure out why I just did that. And yeah, I mean, it's a cool mon. So I was really sort of feeling a little Ninetales. I hope it puts in work though. Definitely hope it puts in work in this draft. I think it's a unique mon, and I think we're the only ones that drafted, like I said, so that's why I think it's unique. In terms of like our overall draft, nobody really has this kind of build that I have here, but a lot of people have similar mons. So the drafts don't look the same though, but a lot of the mons are picked up, except for a little Ninetales though. You already know I'm out here with the heat. So yeah, then moving on, I was debating on picking up a fighting type Pokemon, and I did really want one just because I wanted to sort of beat down people that drafted Snorlax and Pokemon that are weak to fighting type attacks. I was debating between either Machamp or Poliwrath. Probably 2 of the best fighting type Pokemon in the metagame. So I was thinking, right, okay, Machamp, pretty cool mon, but what do I want it to beat? I wanted to beat, obviously, Snorlax. Both of them could do that. But then I was thinking to myself, I was like, so how else will I be able to beat Cloyster? Cloyster is a Pokemon that, I mean, I have Gyarados, obviously, but Cloyster is a pretty big threat. It still gets access to Shell Smash. And how do I also beat opposing Mega Gyarados? Because that's also kind of a problem for my team. Even though I have like Zapdos and my own Gyarados, like my own Gyarados can probably have trouble versus that. And Zapdos still gets hit neutrally by Waterfall and by Crunch and stuff. So I have to be careful, especially if they don't lead with Gyarados and bring it out later and have to switch in Zapdos. So I figured that Poliwrath is a Pokemon that is, of course, both resistant to Water Stab and Dark Stab from Gyarados. It can eat up hits from Shell Smash, Cloyster, and OHKO it back with Superpower, which it does have. Superpower is a new move that I think this thing never had before, if I'm not mistaken. Poliwrath it sort of reminds me of Nidoqueen in the sense that it has really great all-around stats, I feel. It has, 95 attack, 95 defense, 90 SPDF, right? 90 HP. Its special attack is very salvageable. It is able to use Hydro Pump, even Scald, just fish for Scald burns. It has Ice Beam and Ice Punch both, so I can run either a physical or a special attacking set. What else? It has access to Bulk Up, so I can run a Bulk Up 3 attacks Poliwrath even with like Ice Punch, Waterfall, Superpower, or Poison Jab even, or Rock Slide even, or Earthquake even. So I think that Poliwrath does offer a lot more than Machamp in terms of versatility and the threats that it can deal with, being like Mega Gyarados, Cloyster. I don't know if anyone drafted Almastar, but this thing can deal with that too. And just the water typing is so nice overall, with the speed tier being faster than Machamp as well, so it can bulk up and sort of be fast too. So and I just looked at the matchup and stuff. I figured that this thing kind of beats a lot more things than Machamp does overall, so I went with Poliwrath here. And my last and final Pokemon of my draft analysis, it's gonna be Mega Pinsir. Now, the thing with Mega Pinsir is, or I guess with this last pick, is that once everybody gets 1 Mega in the draft that we're in, then everybody can move on, or that the people in the draft can move on to their 2nd Mega. That was the rule that Joey made, it you're allowed to draft 2 Megas only after everybody has their 1st Mega. Now, in draft 1, which I was not in, I think it consisted of, pretty sure it consisted of Joey Gator, Mr. Talent, and Kyle, right? So 4 of them were picking up their Mega Pokemon relatively early, and then they moved on to their second Mega. However, my boy Chimpact here picked up his first Mega Pokemon on his last pick, on his wheel pick. So he picked up, I think he picked up Mega Kangaskhan and Mega Slowbro, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So then Nexus picked up his second Pokemon, which was Mega Blastoise. And I picked up the Pokemon that I actually wanted. It was still available. The Mega Pokemon was still available. I wanted Mega Pinsir a lot. And, you know, in a meta where, or in a 3v3 format where clicking rocks might not be the opponent's first option, Mega Pinsir is something that can really take advantage of that, I feel. And plus it comes in at 25% rocks, which means that it doesn't have to take 50% when it comes in. It's, you know, when it's in a regular form, it's just a pure bug type, which is still a good mon. Like, I can choose if I want to Mega Gyarados or Pinsir. I can bring one or the other or both to each match. So I think that Pinsir can do really well. It has a base 105 speeds, faster than base 100s. Access to Swords Dance, so it still has Swords Dance, even though it doesn't have Aerodactyl ability. It doesn't even need it because it has, because everything does not run EVs. Everything just runs in nature. This thing hits extremely hard. It makes up a lot for the ability with just the pure power that it has and the less bulk that certain other mons might have, I think. But yeah, so like, I don't know, this thing is really good. Like, it just OHKOs, like I was playing on the ladder today with Mega Pinsir, +2 Rock Slide OHKOs Zapdos from full HP. It literally OHKOs it from full HP. It's amazing Pokemon. Base 155 attack, which is actually, I think, the same as Mega Gyarados. Yeah, it is. So yeah, with like, it has access to Swords Dance, bulk up even as a setup move, with a lot of good coverage. Earthquake, Rock Slide, X Scissor is the main bug stab move for this thing. Really great mon. Super power is there too. Outrage even for like, I don't know, Dragonite, but I could just Rock Slide that too. It has also Stealth Rocks, I think. Yeah, it is a Stealth Rocker. So I have I have 3 Stealth Rockers on my team. And yeah, so that's about it. I mean, it has Facade. So if I do want this thing to get burned, I can just blow something back with a Facade. And that's about it. Yeah, like I think this mon's amazing overall. I'm just really satisfied with the draft that I've picked up. And I hope that we can put in work with the team overall. So that's going to be my draft here. I think week 1, we end up, I think, who do we face? I think we face Pokemon week 1. Yeah, we do face Pokemon week 1. And his team is like, he has a pretty good team overall. I don't know if I'll do team builders or not. I might just upload the battles just because it's really casual, like really, I mean, it's competitive, but it's casual. Like, it's not something to be taken too seriously. I just want to get some Wi-Fi content out with this game, make it look all nice and good. And I think it'll just be a lot of fun to sort of use these Pokemon in a Wi-Fi battle. And I think we have a pretty good team. Like, overall, we have like 4 setup sweepers on the team with Alakazam, Calm Mind, Nasty Plot, Bulk Up, Swords Dance. We got some fast mons like Alakazam and Arrow. We got some slow mons like Alolan Muk, and bulky mons like Gyarados and Nidoqueen and Zapdos and stuff. So we have a kind of a mix of everything, mainly sort of leaning towards a more offensive playstyle. But of course, I think as most people are, because of the fact that you don't want to get that timer all the way down. But I think the 3v3 really solves that a lot. And I feel like this is a really great start to the Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee draft leagues that will probably follow after this. So thank you everybody for watching. Let me know what you guys think about the team and what you're all excited for. And looking forward to hearing from you all as always. And of course, I will see you all on the next video. That's going to be it. Peace.